Hi, I'm Leanne King and I'd like to welcome you once again to the Aroma Share Club. It is October 2014 and the theme of our month is fresh air. Now in that pack you get clove oil and you get two other oils. You get thyme, linalool, and you get breath of life. But those are not very good, yummy tasting oils. So we have our clove bud though that we can make a lot of fun recipes with. And we are going to make an easy ketchup. Now, one thing I do want to talk to you about is if you are using blood thinners, please substitute just clove herb for the clove oil. The clove oil is very strong and it can interfere with blood thinners. And so in our recipes, we have the oil or the herb on a lot of these recipes. And we have that for the optional oils, the cinnamon, the black pepper, the orange oil, and the tooth powder. But those of you who are making these fun recipes this month, you can just put your clove powdered herb in there. And I just wanted you to know that you can still enjoy our yummy recipes and just still put your cinnamon oil in there and your black pepper oil in there. But when it calls for your clove bud, I want you to put 1/4 teaspoon of clove powdered herb instead of your clove bud oil. Alright, with that said, let's get making our ketchup. You know, ketchup nowadays is just so nasty. It has all that high fructose corn syrup and all those chemicals you can't even read. So making homemade ketchup is a really yummy thing to do. So in here I have 2 cups of chopped tomatoes. And then I'm going to put in 3 dates. Make sure they're pitted. And even if you buy them pitted, squeeze them. Make sure they didn't accidentally mix one, because nothing is worse than hearing that clank, clank, clank of that pit going on in your blender. And then we are going to put in 2 tablespoons of raw apple cider vinegar. I absolutely love apple cider vinegar. And then we are going to put a clove of garlic. And it says to have it crushed, but if you have a really awesome high-tech blender like this, you do not need to pre-crush that, so I'm not going to. And then we have 1/4 cup of onion, finely chopped. And even if you're an onion hater, you won't even know it's in there, but you'll know if it's not in there because it won't taste as good without your onion in there. Alright. Then we put 1/2 cup of dried tomatoes and do not soak them. Many times in recipes we will use the sun-dried tomatoes and we'll have you soak them first. And we did that with our barbecue kale chips. But with these, and these are dried, these are homemade dried tomatoes from the garden last year. So we have about 1/4 cup of those. And I'm not going to quite put them all in because you never know how much you're going to have to add to get this at the right thickness. So, and notice I did not put my essential oils in yet, because these are really hot oils, the clove and the cinnamon, and sometimes, and the black pepper, and sometimes those will degrade the inside of your blender. Especially if you have a plastic blender cup, okay? So that's why you're going to add the essential oils after you pour it out of here. Blend this up quite a bit because I want to make sure all of those dried tomatoes are blended up so we don't have a bunch of chunks in there. So let's see the consistency of this. We want it, you know, thick. Now it will thicken up a little bit more after it sits for a while. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of these dried tomatoes. And because we did not soak them, they are going to absorb the moisture in here and thicken up your ketchup. right, now, this has a lot of air in it, and that makes it a lot lighter looking, and we don't have artificial colors in it, so that's the other thing that makes it lighter. I'm going to set this down over here. Get that last little piece of tomato. And now I'm going to pour this out. And you can just pour this in a canning jar. I'm just pouring in this measuring cup because I'd already dirtied it for right now. And then what I'm going to do, now it's a lot of our recipes I tell you to put a touch of an essential oil in it. Now I'm going to show you what a touch is. You take a toothpick and you open up your bottle. Smell it, it smells so good. And you stick your toothpick inside of here and tip it just a little tiny bit so you get just a tiny bit of oil on there. And then you're going to stir that in, okay? And so let me put my lid back on. And you're going to stir that in. And then you're going to mix it in. You want to mix this in good. And what I really recommend you do, because sometimes it doesn't taste super strong at first, and after it sits, then that oil really starts marrying with all of your other ingredients. And if it's not strong enough after it's sat for maybe, oh, let's say an hour in the fridge, then you can add some more, okay? And especially with your black pepper. And these are just really, really strong oils, very strong oils. And so what I want you to do is just do that touch, that toothpick for each one. Let it sit for about an hour. Then, if you don't think it's strong enough, then go ahead and add another touch in, okay? All right. So, there is your super easy ketchup. It's good for you. You know, all those oils are just so fantastic. They are warming oils, which is good for you in the wintertime. We want to warm the inside of our body. They are known historically to be antibacterial and antifungal. Your cinnamon oil is fantastic for helping to balance your blood sugar. All of these kinds of really fun, awesome things are happening while you are eating your ketchup on your hamburger with your gluten-free bread, of course. So thank you so much for coming, and we hope that you enjoy another fabulous AromaShare Club.